We'll start. Hello, everybody. I am Maria, and I am the admin of the Money Making Esthetician Group. And today I'm joined with Mary. I am so excited to hear your story. Do you want to do a little intro, and then we'll get into it?
Sure. Hi, guys. My name is Mary Harcourt. I'm the founder and CEO of Cosmoglo. If you don't know Cosmoglo, you've probably been living under a rock, but we'll explain it today and tell you the whole story of what it is. It is the lights that are in this shape that rotate 360 degrees, move out, have a flat base, the whole 9 yards. They're amazing. But I came from the esthetician world, which is always how I like to tie back into these groups and introduce myself and share my story because I got licensed at 18, which was decades ago. But throughout the years and throughout my journey, I have done so many different aspects of esthetician, cosmetology, and everything in between that I feel like I'm always great to be an open book. I went from being licensed to doing all kinds of different services from waxing to facials to then I found lashes. Lashes led me to open my first spa. And then after I had my first lash spa is when I created Cosmoglo. And that's what leads us here today to talk all about that. So thank you, Maria.
Thank you so much. So when you and I first connected, I was like, wow, what a blessing. I was so excited to meet you. I personally find your story so inspiring, especially in this time where it's so interesting. In the group, I keep hearing people like, I'm ready to close my business. It's the economy. I'm going to close my business. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And why I thought it was such a one, obviously, we all love your light. Everybody has it. It's beautiful. It helps makes
Thank you.
content so much easier. But
Yes.
also your story of how you came and got through certain things. I feel like that's what makes this industry so exciting is you got licensed at 18 and now you have this amazing huge company with a whole team. Like how
Mm-hmm.
did you get from there to there and all the stuff in between? And I really hope that whoever is listening or tunes in or in the replay, your story resonates with them and when they're in those times of difficulty of like how am I going to get through this? You just give them that little inspiration to like at least get through today, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, everyone's journey is different, but I think at the end of the day, hearing someone else's that the struggles are real, being slow is real, having to work to get client is real, sometimes making mistakes is real, and being able to put that in perspective makes you feel like you're not in this alone and that what you're doing is right on par with what you should be doing, and that sometimes it feels like you want to give up and you want to quit and it's rough, and trust me, I get it. I've been there too, and every day is different, but keep on keeping on. And I think like having that dedication, having that will to make it work is what helps you get over those low and high points. And then you look back and reflect on your journey and you're like, oh my God, that was a crazy journey. I'm thankful I'm here. And now I just want to go encourage others to do the same thing because I know they're in the thick of it too. And hearing sometimes that that is normal and this is totally par for course and you are exactly where you need to be right now is refreshing.
Okay, so first there's two questions.
Okay.
How did Cosmolite come to be? Because I feel like is such a cool story. And then two, how, because what you had just said is to find the will. So how did Cosmolite come to be? And how did you find the will to keep going?
Oh, those are two long questions. Hopefully, I won't make this as long winded. Cosmoglow came about. I was struggling with lighting, as many of us do, and I had purchased every light known to man on the market. I had filming lights, I had ring lights, I had the dual arms, I had the craft lights, I had every light that they make, and I hated all of them. And I just couldn't understand why. The beauty industry is so big and it's only getting bigger, and more women and men are getting more services done more often than ever before. So, how has no one made a light for this? And really, that was my own frustration. And so, with that, after replacing my lights so many times over and spending so much money, a question came up from my now husband, but he was kind of like, babe, you complain about these lights. Like, I have heard you complain about these lights for over a year, and I love you, but either you have to draw a line in the sand and make a light. Or you gotta stop like complaining about it. Like, when we get together, it can't just be you venting. Like, I kind of need some relief from this complaining about lights. And I thought, oh my God, well, I do lashes. I don't really build lights. So I wouldn't even know the first step of how it would come about. And we were having a happy hour wine after work. Both of us met up, and it was just kind of one of those moments where I'm like, actually, I feel like I've been thinking about this for a long time. I know exactly how it would look. I know exactly how it would function. I think I have it all like mapped out in my head because I've spent years being frustrated at lighting. So we took a cocktail napkin and a pen, and really quickly I was like, flat base. I loathe tripods. I have never left my studio in 6 years to do a house call. Why are all of my lights mobile? I don't need a mobile light. I need a piece of equipment that looks and feels like it was meant to be in this room. It has to have weight to it, durability, stability. It has to be stable. And so I kind of took this like quick drawing and said, I wanted to have a flat base. I wanted to look like those old school tanning beds, like the clamshells. I wanted to have, if it could light up from ear to ear. No other light gives you perfect lighting from side to side. They all come at one angle and it gives you a shadow on the other side. Or you get two, and now the two lights are fighting each other and almost giving you more shadows. And so I wanted it to have that curved design. And as we all know, everyone comes in different shapes and sizes. And especially when I was focused on doing lashes, head sizes are different. So I was like, it has to move because some people have these little tiny heads and some people have larger heads. Like it has to be able to move to wherever I'm working with the client on either side. I have to be able to like make it work for everyone. And so that's where the movement came in. And that's kind of where it started. And so from there, I knew that was the design. And from that, I wanted to get it made. So we had a local machine shop make it up, and it was raw. I mean, it was raw metal. It was like the kind that when you like touch it, the metal stinks. It's like it leaves almost a residue on your hands, just raw metal. But we got it in and we got lights to it and all of this stuff. And I just remember putting it in the lobby of my spa. And we plugged in the light. My whole, me and all my girls were like, whoa. And I was like, oh my God. So we took it to the room. I was like, lay down, lay down, lay down. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, this light like isn't even a finished product, and it already is better than any light we've ever used. Like, guys, this could like change the entire industry. Like, this is crazy. So then they all wanted to try it. And just from that first prototype, I learned so much, but my girls would fight to work in that room under that light. And I thought, oh my God, this is crazy. So we get a second one made because I'm like a Goldilocks salon. I'm in the middle. I had super tall girls, I had super short girls, and the light was only one size. So the beds would move and the chairs would move, but the lights wouldn't. So the second prototype, we had it added that you could change the height. That was amazing. That was great. And then we got a third one. And so that's kind of where it started and stopped, was getting to that third light. My girls would fight over the light that had the room. Clients would come in and be like, oh my God, that light is so cool. How did you get that? And I was like, well, I made it. I didn't make it, but like I got it made. And they're like, why don't you do that? Why don't you like make that a whole product? And I thought, because I'm happy. I love my salon. As we all know, being in the industry, you work to build up your clientele. And when you get to a point where you have the schedule you want, you're charging the prices you want. My salon was profitable. Like, that's a really proud moment to be kind of like on that pyramid. And that's where I was. And I thought, I'm not stopping all of that. Like, I'm not just going to turn this off one day. But if I ever get the time, I would love to launch it as a product. I would love to launch it as a real light. And then fast forward, this was all September 2019 to January 2019. And I had taken it seriously enough to start the patent process because I knew there was nothing else like it, nothing else on the market. Then fast forward to March of 2020, as we all know very well, the pandemic hit, and I was currently in California, which got hit crazy hard. So we were one of the first salons to close, and we were one of the last to open. And I just remember like getting everyone situated, doing the last of the payroll, cleaning everything. And I looked into my room, my treatment room, and the lights were off, like the overhead lights, but my Cosmoglo was on, and it made this really cool shape. And I looked in and saw that, and I thought, oh my God, I always said if I ever get the time, I would make it a product. But when am I ever going to get the time? I think I was just gifted the time. And so I switched gears, and in that duration of the time that my salon was closed, we launched Cosmoglo, from everything from the website to the final designs to getting the patent filed to finding a manufacturer that would work with me. And it was in USA because at that time, if you remember back, like the international trades and travel was very interesting. We didn't know what was coming, what was going, if borders were getting shut down, if travel was legal. And I look at it now, it's such a blessing in disguise to be able to manufacture in the USA, and we still do, and I'm very proud of that. But at the time, I had no idea. It was just like out of necessity. So that's really how Cosmoglo started, was just out of necessity, out of being from the background, boots on the ground, understanding that the beauty industry is huge, it's growing, it's going to only grow from here. And how has no one ever made a light for the beauty industry? And then stepping into that role that, okay, well, I guess it's going to be me.
That is so exciting because I feel like there's a couple of things that I want to touch on. Is one, when preparation meets opportunity. You were
Yes.
prepared, you were ready, you were thinking, you were planning. And I mean, I do believe in like divine timing and everything happens for a reason, yada yada. But I also think, especially in our time right now of industry where everybody's like, it's the economy, it's this, it's that. Like you found, you were prepared, you were ready. So which only can inspire people more that if it's a slow season to kind of check in with yourself
Yeah.
and what else am I being quote unquote called to do during all of this. What was the biggest hurdle or because obviously it came to light. You're
Yep.
it's
Pun
2020.
intended.
Yeah, yeah, literally. The light, okay, so the light comes 2020, you have your patents, you have this. Now what? Was there ever a point in between 2020 to when you first started going where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore?
Well, I think your first question to go back to was like, how do you find the will?
Yes.
To answer that question and to tie it into this, I don't know how you find it. I think it's just inside you. It's like something in me. I just felt like called to do this. This was what I needed to do. And I actually truly felt like if it wasn't me, that inspiration was going to leave me and be gifted to someone else. So I truly felt like this was my thing to do. Like I was created to make this essentially. This idea was given to me to make it happen. And I have two choices. I can either say, no, it's not for me, or I can do it. And I thought, okay, if I say it's not for me, how irritated am I going to be watching someone else do this? And I thought, no, it was gifted to me as an idea, as like the courage and the will to do it. And so I must do it. And to make that kind of more generalized for everyone, I think if you guys have a vision of what you want your business to be like, the services you want to offer, the tone you want to give services in, the branding, everything, what services you want to offer, how you're going to do it, the clientele you're going to service, that's like something in you that was planted there so that you have all the tools you need to succeed. You don't always know what they are, but you can find them along the way. But if there's something in you that just makes you go, no, 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 I want to do this. This is mine to do. Then that's the will. And you got to act on that. And it's not going to be easy. And there's going to be hard days. And there's going to be times you question yourself. But just knowing that that idea was gifted to you, that inspiration was gifted to you is so much to help. It's like the tool you need, the encouragement you need to make sure that you are the one that launches it.
Were you ever scared? Did you ever have doubt where you're like, I mean, like, were you scared?
I mean, look, I think anyone's lying if they say they weren't scared or didn't have doubt. But one thing for me is this was during like the start of COVID. We had no clue it's going to be closed for 3 weeks. Like I was hearing 3 weeks in a year. Like, which one is it? Is my business going to survive? Am I required to pay rent? How am I going to pay rent? Like, how do I keep this all alive? And so there was already so many questions. And in a way, I felt like my business was in a free tailspin, free fall. My salon, we had no idea what was going to happen next. And I think because of that, it was almost like, what's one more thing? Like, if I could potentially lose my business and lose all my money and go bankrupt, like, what's one more thing? And I look back on that now and I'm so thankful that it was this crazy mix of emotions and news media and health organization. Like, we had no clue what was going on. That I don't think I would have had the same amount of courage to leave my incredible salon that was built up and performing exactly how I wanted it to. I don't think I would have had the courage to like say, no more, let me go pursue this other thing. So they kind of went hand in hand of it's almost like one door open, one door closed, and I just walked through. And it didn't feel like this big grazing, oh my God, you have to fork in the road, left or right. It just felt like that's what I was supposed to do. But yeah, I mean, we didn't know what was happening on any aspect or if anyone would even buy them. Like, what if I invest all this money and nobody wants them and they're like sitting on the shelf? But then I also used to think back of like, how cool would it be if people could see the way I just changed my own spa? Like you could perform better, you can work better, you can give better results. It looks better in your studio. And like, if I don't bring this out and share it with the whole world, it's almost like I'm doing a disservice. I'm from the beauty industry. This is my way to give back to the beauty industry. And it wasn't just where I was in California. It's like a global gift. And I think that was kind of what pushed me to do it is if I can make this happen, think of how many people's lives we can influence and touch and help them do a better job at their job and essentially like make more money. We can go in and change the industry, not just for me and my spa, but for the whole world. And that helped me get out of that funk real quick.
How wild. Because when I think of like now, obviously before knowing you, it's such a staple in everybody's, it helps you do better content, helps you do better
Yes.
lighting. It just makes everything a little more sexy, which it was like, which is literally our industry.
Yes.
As a business owner, what has been the most rewarding and what has brought you the most joy?
As a business owner, I think watching it grow. Me personally, I go to a lot of shows. I just got back from one in Santa Clara, California. I think being able to see it 360. I was that girl in the chair. I was the one that took notes, and I would go into every conference and just sit in the classroom from 9 in the morning until 5 o'clock at night. Like if I even made it to the trade show to see the vendors, like that was I got lucky. But I came to those shows to sit in the classroom and take notes. And I just remember being that person that was a sponge. I just wanted to absorb all of the information. Like I would look at the speakers and be like, oh my God, I wonder what it would be like to speak up there one day. And so now for me, it's so heartwarming to give that back to people and remember what it was like to sit in that chair and give them encouragement. And sometimes you just need to hear, hey, you have a really good idea and you can act on it. And like your idea can change the entire industry. Isn't that really cool? Go do it. Sometimes that's all you need. And if I can give that to someone else, that's what I love to do.
How was the patent process? Which patents has been a big topic in our industry this year, which actually gets me really excited because it's making us more savvy as a
Yes.
community.
The patent process is crazy. It's very long. It's very expensive. It's very worth it. If you have an idea and you truly think it's going to change the industry or even the world, I mean, we all have different ideas. It doesn't have to be just the beauty industry, it could be on anything. If you truly stand behind it, I think get it patented. But with that comes just a whole lot of things to do. I know more about intellectual property than I ever thought I would. And I often think like if I had an alter life, right, maybe I would go and be a patent lawyer. But I also feel like I had to have been passionate about it. And this product has now made me passionate about protecting your intellectual property. That I don't know if I could have been a lawyer without having the firsthand experience of Cosmoglo, but I feel like now I probably could. It's a long process, but the government is there to help inventors protect their idea. So, innovation takes capital, energy, resources, and time. And if that wasn't recognized and protected, there would be no innovation anywhere. And so the government steps in to say, thank you for changing the world and essentially making it better and creating something that is so widespread that everyone can use it. Your reward is that we have your back when it comes to protecting your idea, which is everything from importing, duplicating, the sale of any infringing product. Infringing just means like similar. One of the definitions we go off of is could it cause confusion to the consumer? If they could see your product and another product and it causes confusion as if they don't know which one, if there's differences, if there's not differences, if they saw this once and saw the other, that's an infringing product. And so the government stands behind you to say, thank you so much for inventing this product and changing lives and making something better for us. We now give you the right to protect it. And it's a very powerful thing. It does require a lot of work, but I think I have it pretty good now where we've brought in different law teams and different brand protection services, and they go out and just AI run scans all the time. And if there is a suit to file, we file it. And if we need to act on it, we act on it. But yeah, it's been a crazy process.
What kind of advice would you give an esthetician who has an idea, doesn't know what to do with it? What are the first kind of steps she should do?
Keep it to yourself. Don't release any type of images. So when I was creating my idea, I had the 3 prototypes and I was very strict with my girls. Don't ever let anyone outside of like a human walking through the store get it. You can't put it on social media. It can't be dropped in a Facebook forum. It can't be published on the internet. Like, just do not release it. And the reason behind that is when you do file a patent, it is the first to file. So if someone sees your idea, but you take a year to patent it and they patent it in 6 months, they essentially can take that patent away from you. And so it's really important that if you have an idea, go through the process or at least consult a lawyer on what that process is. And they will give you an, okay, you can release this now. And I don't remember the date of which I got that phone call, but I remember thinking, oh my God, when this patent stuff goes through and my lawyer called and said, everything is officially filed, you are good. You can now release this. And I put it in a Facebook forum of like, hey guys, I have this light. What do you think? Like, would you be interested in it? And the forum went off. I mean, it was crazy, hundreds of comments. But now, when it comes to our international patents, a lot of people will pull up that Facebook thread and say, this was published before your patent was filed. And so therefore it makes it null and void. And we fight it every time with, no, that's also my patent. And that patent was filed first. I was the first to file. And when they match up the dates, I win every time. So just a really important thing is definitely consult with your lawyer, get a timeline. Not everything's due up front. It's not like you have to come to the starting line with all of this cash. It can be done in small increments over time, and find out what you need. There's multiple types of patents. I am fully patented on both sides, but sometimes you just need a design patent and sometimes you just need a utility. Both have different prices, both have different timelines, and both offer different protection points. So consult with a lawyer, keep it to yourself. Once you have everything that you need to, then you can release it to the public. And ask your lawyer. Sometimes they will tell you this isn't worth patenting, because if the cost of the item is so little, you have to go in and fight these things. We have fought tooth and nail for our design patent and utility patent. And we've won every case that we've ever entered, usually with settlements and all of that. And all of that goes to helping you make this decision worth it. But if it's not worth you ever pursuing in the court of law, then it's probably not worth you patenting it. But I can't make that decision. You can't make that decision. That has to be a decision that comes from you alone. And so I would say, let's start with keeping it to yourself and consult a lawyer and figure out what type of protection is needed and what that's going to look like financially and timeline.
What advice would you give estheticians who are currently struggling to grow their business or feel stuck in their careers?
If you feel stuck in your career, I think you have to really boil down, get true to yourself, what makes you happy. And it isn't like, I wish I had a career that I could go lay on the beach every day, but that makes me happy. It's not that. It's going, do you want to have all of the responsibility of controlling every aspect of your career, from booking the clients to branding to understanding what products you buy in and the cost of which is associated to buying those products in and doing your books and all of it? Or would you rather just go work for a greatly established, busy salon? Sometimes you realize that you were not meant to be a business owner, and that's okay. And sometimes you realize you went into it because someone else persuaded you, and that business ownership was going to be this way. And the reason that you feel stuck or unhappy is because you're doing it the way someone else would do it. And you can reclaim that by getting real with yourself and realizing what would make you happy. Sometimes you can hear somebody that says, I start work at 7 a.m. and I don't take clients after 12. Well, if you're not a morning person, that's probably going to make you miserable. There's nothing wrong with starting your day at 2 o'clock and working till 6 or 7 or 8. So sometimes it's just getting real with yourself. If you had a perfect world, if you could wave a wand, what does your schedule look like? What does your price point look like? What is your perfect client? What do they look like? What do you want to charge for services? And what kind of timeline are you looking to have all of this done? And if you get really clear on that, you can understand how to market to your target audience, ask the price that you want to pay, charge the prices you want to pay, and have a schedule. And so it all works. But I think sometimes you get persuaded that you have to follow someone else's dream. This is business ownership. And that's not the case. So I guess just to reiterate, I've said it like 5 times, but just get real with yourself and what you're looking for in your business.
I love that you said that, because I feel like so many times in our industry, we do what other people are doing versus being really real with ourselves. For example, I agree with you. I don't start work till 2 and I will be done at 7 because I just have other things to do in the mornings. So it's
Yeah.
whatever makes it easier for you. When you were in the lash industry or even now, the question always is how did you get people in the door?
Social media, I mean, to be honest, it was social media. If you're not social media savvy, that's okay. There are ways around it. I interacted heavily with my local community. There was a yoga studio across the street. I went in, I made friends. I got a couple months membership, learned how to do yoga. It was fun, but once I got to know the trainers, once I got to know the owners, then I started to get to know the people that came in. And so I offered them anytime we did trainings, I would just text the yoga studio, hey, we have a training come up. I need a model. Does anyone want free lashes? And it created this like consistency of friendship where they didn't get free services. I wasn't just giving stuff out left and right. I wasn't doing everyone that works at that place gets free lashes. No. But I had a good system of, hey, I'm doing a training. We need a model. Sometimes it was, hey, we need 3 models. And so they got to know me as my business and my work. And when they would have those lashes on, people would ask them, your lashes look amazing. Where do you get them done? Oh, it's right across the street. Well, they're already coming to the yoga studio, so that's convenient for them. They can look across the street and see out a purple door. They can see my purple door. And as soon as you can break down that barrier of it's right there and they do my lashes, it's like people just kind of got in there. And then once I started doing the clients that were coming to me, it was all of their neighbors and all of their friends and the people they saw at school. And anytime that they would be out to a girls' lunch and, oh, I love your lashes. Where do you get them done? Right down the street. It's across the street from my yoga studio. And I feel like if you can work with that, your local community, go say hi. I had open houses. I would have an open house and I would call all my local businesses. Hey, I see you're a massage studio. I'm a spa. I'm having an open house in 3 days. Well, I probably planned earlier, but 3 weeks. I would love to have you come be a part of it. And if you're open to it, I love to promote your business and offer a free massage as a giveaway to my girls that walk through the door. I'll put it on social media. I'll tag you and I'll talk about your business. If you're interested, let me know. I would do that with everyone. Hey, I see you're in injector's office. In 3 weeks, I have an open house. It's going to be all local people to this area. I would give them demographics. It's all mostly women between these ages that live locally to this area, usually within a 30-minute drive. This would be great. I feel like we could share clients. If you're interested, you want to donate a gift certificate or a skincare product or anything like that, I would love to give it away at my open house. And all of a sudden, I had 30 local businesses that were my friends. I would walk in, shake their hand, say, hi, I'm Mary. I own a spa right down the street. We can refer each other clients. We can, if you ever need anything, I would love to help you. If you ever would like a gift certificate or need a service done, or if you ever are doing any type of magazine shot where you want to look extra pretty for that, let me know. I can do your lashes. But really getting into the community helps because then it's fresh in people's minds. Even if that person doesn't get lashes or facials or any other type of service, waxing, the next time somebody says, do you know anyone local? They think, oh my God, I do. I do. Let me get your business card. She's right down the street. And so being a part of my local community was extremely helpful.
I feel like you're such an out of the box, like you make it look so easy. It's just what we do. Did you have a business background prior? Did you have any like, how did you get into being a business owner?
Well, I think it's like the entrepreneur dream. Once you finally hit that fresh starting line, you look back and realize you always had it in you. But no formal education. I went to beauty school when I was 18. That is nowhere near where I'm at now. I never went further on in my career. I learned from the world. I'm a huge avid traveler. I traveled to 64 countries and I would just reflect and see how everyone lived their life. I think a smile is universal. You don't have to speak their language, but you can connect with someone and laugh about the same thing and you feel that. And so
Yeah.
I learned that connection is so special and smiling and like making eye contact is so special. And I would go to these other countries where they weren't like America. You can't walk into a product store, pick it off the shelf, and it goes home with you. But they would see it on TV and they would think, how can I get that? And they would make it. And I would remember looking at these like little inventions. I mean, it could be like soda bottles wrapped up with twine, blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden they have a contraption and you look at it and it works. And so I remember thinking like, God, they just really think outside the box. And that just goes to show you don't have to have all of the pieces and you don't have to have it all put together that you can purchase. If you have an idea of how you want it to work, you can make it work. And so I feel like that kind of was a part of it too. And then I was always a hard worker. I always had 2 jobs. I bartended. I was always in the beauty industry. I would call it like daytime, nighttime. Like they're really the same industry. One's serving drinks, one's doing services. It relies on you're building that connection with your client, giving them a great service, having them come back again. And so I felt like they were so similar. So I would always do two. So I was a hard worker, and obviously working in other places of businesses with different types of management and ownership, you kind of make mental notes of like, I would never do it that way. I would definitely do that. I would never want to be considered that kind of boss. I would definitely want people to think of me the way that they think of this owner. And so as I progressed in my career, I moved cities. And so I thought, well, geez, if I'm going to start over, I could go work for someone or I could just work for myself. I've never owned a business, but I'm pretty confident that I can do it. And if it doesn't work out, I'll just go back to like bartending or something, or I'll go back to working for someone. But I almost feel like maybe it's my time in life to do it. And so how I bought my first salon was I had saved up some funds to go traveling, started dating my now husband, pause that trip. So I kind of had some money saved up, and within walking distance was a sign in the door of this cute little spa that said for sale. And I thought, oh, that's so interesting. What are the chances that I could walk to this place? It's adorable. Let me just go in and talk to her. And so I walked in to say, like, I'm just curious. I don't think I'm going to buy it. Let me just be real, but I'm just curious. Like, how does the process work? What does it look like? Why are you getting rid of it? And she was a girl that did skincare, all esthetician based, everything. And her husband got transferred. He was some kind of like smart guy scientist. He got transferred to Hawaii. And she's like, originally I was going to stay here and we were just going to connect and fly back and forth. But I just found out I'm pregnant, and I'm not being pregnant by myself when my husband's are. I want to be with him. So I'm just selling this business kind of like turnkey. And I'll give you all the skincare, everything that you see here, my book of clients. I'll tell you, just everything. And I thought, well, that's a pretty good situation. If I don't have any clientele and I could walk into a business that's set up, I feel like that is worth pursuing. So within 3 weeks, signed on the dotted line, I had a business. And then the real reality check started of, oh my God, I know nothing about business. And that's a normal feeling. I know you guys have probably all been there, but I was scared shitless. I mean, it's so scary. I didn't know where my next paycheck was coming from. I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent. I didn't know how to market. I'd never sent a marketing email before. I didn't know how to rebook my clients. I didn't know I kind of knew training, but I wasn't trained on her skincare or her products. And so it was a real big slap to my face. And it took me a long time to smooth that road out. But once I took it over as mine, and I feel like, a couple months later, I just claimed it as mine and started working through and changed the name. I changed the website. I changed the services I offered. I changed the price point. And once I started making it as mine, then it became like an obsession. Like now I love it. I want it to excel. I want it to do better. And I mean, truth be told, I got myself in a really dark hole. I was working so many hours. I wasn't making ends meet, and I was like depressed over it because I can't take one more client. And so I did go to a little school. I think it's called Inspiring Champions. It's like a school for beauty professionals. And they taught me everything on how to price myself, the amount of money I need to come in to make the amount of money I want in my pocket. And that changed my life. And all of a sudden I kicked out my room renters and hired employees, and we got everybody trained and up and running. And once I understood how a business ran and the money was coming through the door, I was like, oh my God, it worked. I would have never been able to be where I am today if I didn't stop. So sometimes you just need education. Sometimes you just have to admit you don't know how to run a business. I didn't know how to run a business. I got the knowledge to run a business, and that's when everything changed. And so from that, I really grew strong in entrepreneurship and understanding the numbers behind running a business and how it all works, and became super confident in it. And so it did come to Cosmoglo. It was a really natural progression of I got this, and it was a really fast ramp up. But the first couple of years of my salon, I had it for almost 5 years. Like the first 1 or 2, it was not the greatest time. I remember crying, thinking, how could I ever have gotten into a business? Why did I do this to myself? If I could go back and change the time and not sign that lease, I would do it in a heartbeat. And fast forward to where I am now, like I needed every minute of those lessons. So sometimes it feels like you're in the thick of it and you're like, just regret your decision. But honestly, you're just getting lessons and training to help you further ahead in life. And one day you're going to look back and be like, wow, that little business owner of mine that was scared at year 1, like she did it and she kept going. And you don't always have the answers, but you can always find the answers. And now with chat's like the best thing ever. plug it into chat. Hey, here's how many hours I work. Here's my rent. Here's all the bills I have. If I need to make this much per hour, how many hours do I need to work? You could, how do I balance my books? What's the best way to get new clients? Like you can ask it anything, but being able to just be agile and pivot and find the knowledge and then apply it. And sometimes it doesn't work, see what works, see what doesn't work. The stuff that works, double down on it. But I think that's part of entrepreneurship is just not giving up and being ready to find a new path. And then when you find something that works, double down on it.
So, looking back, is there anything you wish you had known when you first started your business that could help our listeners today?
I wish I knew everything.
You're like, where do I
I
start?
knew everything. If I could have avoided my 2 years of darkness where I sat in the room and almost cried because I'd never worked this hard in my entire life and made less money, and I know you guys can all relate to that. Yeah, I would have skipped those moments, but I needed that to show me that I didn't know it all. And then once I could go and understand that I don't know it all, how do I grow? That's where it's all at. But I mean, books, entrepreneur books, courses, classes, be selective with your courses. Not every course is there to help you. Some courses are just there to sell you a course. But if you can really do your research and read the reviews, and there's tons of people saying it changed their life, go for that. But podcasts are helpful. Listen to someone who's gone through it and what they had to do. And I guarantee you, nobody starts the process and ends without a huge disruption or a high and low. Nobody opens business day one and sells it as like, that was great. That was so easy. We all go through it. You never know what's around the corner. The world's changing. I mean, social media used to never be a thing. You could make a Yellow Pages ad and put your name as one and be the first that people would call. And then it switched into this website thing. Then it switched into social media. And so I think just being able to be agile and open and understand you can grasp so many different aspects of so many different things, and how you apply all of that to your business is what makes your business. You don't have to be amazing at social media. You don't have to be amazing at making connections, but if you're okay at both, it's going to go a lot easier for you.
I love that. I also think that the beginning, when you were like those 2 years that were so hard, they did serve a little bit as a purpose.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if nothing else, I needed the confidence to get knocked out of me and kind of on my knees crying, going, how could I have made such a big mistake in my life? And then that's when I was open up to learning. Had I been open to learning on day number one, I probably would have never gone through those 2 years, but I wasn't open to learning because I thought I knew it all.
I
As an
love
employee, sometimes you think that, oh my God, my owner just takes all this money from me and it's not that hard. And then you get in there and go, oh, wow, actually, it's 10 times harder than I ever thought it was going to be. But you need that like realization sometimes so that you're ready to open and learn.
I do want to open it up. So our motto for 2024 is don't suffer in silence.
I love
So
that.
I hope that we have created a safe enough community to be able to ask questions. So there are
Yeah.
a couple of people in here. I would love for you guys to either turn on your mics or put it in the chat if you guys have any questions. So Jay said, agree. What was the name of the education you received that helped you with your business and knowing how to price yourself? Again.
It was called Inspiring Champions. I'll be honest, it's very hair related. But if you switch out every time they say hair with what the service you're doing, it's the same information. For me, I was behind on my rent and it was as much as my rent. And I thought, oh my God, I have never spent this much money on a class that I know nothing about. But also, if I don't go and get educated, I'm going to lose my whole business. So I'm going to double down and go for it. And that was really what it taught me everything: how to take inventory of all of your bills, how to take inventory of all of your rent, how to figure out with all of the bills that you have and the amount of money you want to make, how many hours do you have to work? And that's different for everyone. Some people, I loved working 12 hours a day. I don't anymore. But at the time, I was like, if I could work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, I will have made it. Some people go into this and go, I want to work 4 hours, 3 days a week. So those numbers are going to be different for everyone. And I think it just really helps to take inventory of all the bills you have, the price you want to, or the how much you want to pay yourself. And that's going to help you understand how much you need to price your services. And don't look at your competition. Well, they're charging 99. I must be charging 97. or different businesses. And that goes back to like being really true of who you are. Maybe you offer something that no one else does. Maybe you offer more flexibility. Maybe you're open till 9:30 at night. You could probably charge a little bit more because you're more convenient for other people. And so being able to just highlight all of those different areas of what you offer, what your business stands for, your branding, the services you offer, and know how to price yourself can really help make a difference in getting your business propelled forward.
Does anybody else want to ask a question?
I
Like,
know, I feel like now's your time.
great info. What would you say is the social media hack that got you more clients?
I don't know if it was a single hack as much as clients want to know what's in it for them. So before and afters are great, but I think it's like the whole cycle of it. Like, here's all the things that, in my situation, it was lashes, but maybe yours is skincare. Here's the ways it can help you and benefit you. Here's what it looks like before and after. Here's the top 3 things that most people ask, and answer those questions. And so you're creating, if you were a customer and you landed on your page, all of the ideas and questions that you had in your head, are they getting answered on your social media page or even website? Because you have to put yourself in the customer's shoes. So many people are like, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Okay, well, if they don't know how it's going to help them or why they should spend money getting it done, or really what the process looks like before or after, or their questions aren't being answered, they're never going to book. So before and afters are great. And like, highlighting one thing is great, but really wrapping it around to answering those questions, telling them how it can benefit them, giving them a before and after, and allowing them an open platform of ask me anything, shoot me a DM, send me an email, book a consultation. I'd love to answer all your questions. Helping them know how to book, use the link in my bio or call this number or book online, kind of just making it a really easy transition for the client to find you, understand why they need you, what others have done when they found you, post reviews. It always helps hearing your peers' reviews of, hey, I went here and they gave me the best service. I would give it 10 out of 10 stars if I could, but I'm limited to 5. Someone that's sitting on the sidelines like, okay, I think I'm going to do it. So just making it as easy as possible for that customer to find you, understand all of that knowledge, understand how it's going to help them, and then how to book in with you. Yeah, I hope that helped.
I also want to show, 1 second. So we also do have a giveaway that I'm going to put in the chat.
Ew.
So there's the link. So don't forget to enter. And then 2, there will be a replay. Is there anything before we finish that you want to add? Especially with, I just think that, especially with this time where everybody's like, it's the economy. I'm like, is it the economy? Or is it just the
I mean,
hype?
look, the economy is crazy. It's an election year. I think there's a lot going on. Inflation is higher than ever, but that doesn't mean give up. It doesn't mean, oh, let's blame it on this and then like just call it a wash. Like, I think that's your time to show up. I think it's your time to get really clear on what you bring to the table for your clients. And you might have to work a little harder to get clients through your door. But I think that's where it becomes really important to have them leave you a review, show your reviews, get your mailing list going, and tell other people, here's why people love coming to me. Here's the things that they've said. And that's going to really help you stand out from your competition, because whatever your competition's not going to do and you do, you're going to win over the customers. Customers want people that are going to be available and there and present, and not everyone's willing to fight the fight. So it may get easier in future years, and right now might be a little bit more complicated. Welcome to business. Welcome to working for yourself and building clientele. But I think just showing up, keep doing what you're doing, letting people know that you have services that can help them, what it is that you are there to offer them, showing off your reviews, keeping in touch, and making it easy for the customer to book with you. And there's probably going to be a lot of changes that happen for the people that aren't willing to do that.
I love that you said you got to fight the fight.
You gotta fight the fight. It's not done for you.
It's not done for you. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. You guys, please catch the replay. I really hope that this inspires you guys to fight the fight, man.
Yeah,
That's
fight the
business.
fight.
And please enter the giveaway, and then we will continue the discussion back in the group.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Maria. And guys, enter the giveaway. And I'm always on Instagram at Mary Harcourt. You can reach out to me and I'll answer any questions that you have.
Yeah, and then I'll also tag you in the group.
Perfect.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
everybody.
much.
Bye.
Yeah. Okay, bye-bye.